How's it going, everybody? It's Pilot Flame, and we are back again with the FPL season 2022 to 2023. The game is live. It has been live since about, I would say, around like 4 p.m.-ish UK time, thereabouts. It actually updated very quickly, so I saw like the game, it was saying, oh, it's going to update now. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll check it back in like 10 minutes. Checked it back, and it was already live, so I had a quick scan through some stuff, but we're going to go through every team here today. We also have our spreadsheet from our price predicts videos. We're going to go through that as well. We're going to basically rate the new layout as well, because I have some things to say about that. I do like some things, but I don't like other things, so we'll take a look at that as well. Also, the graphics are kind of in a bit of a transition at the moment, so we have a slightly different background, and we're going to change things up, probably slightly just color scheme-wise, but I think our format in general is okay, so we should be all good to go for that. We'll also do the draft on team, and we'll see what ID I get as well, because I didn't do the ID thing where everyone's like trying to get a low ID. Me personally, I don't really care too much at all. But yeah, we're gonna check that out and see what number I get. It's probably gonna be a 6-digit number. I'll be lucky if I get a 5-digit, to be honest. Last time I think I had like 280,000 or something like that, which is perfectly fine. Not really too fussed about that. But without further ado, let's get into it. Isn't it beautiful? Brand new start, all the dreams of winning FPL, all right in front of you, ready to go. We have 100 million, 15 players, but before we start picking players, there's just one caveat. So, oh, two actually. So all the scoring, from what I can tell, because I went and looked ahead at that all seems to be the same. It's the same type of chips, so 2 wild cards, one before kind of the January start, and one afterwards as well. 1 free hit, 1 bench boost, 1 triple captain. However, we do get unlimited transfers during the World Cup period, so you have to use your wild card, your first wild card, slightly earlier unless you want to lose it. I think it's for game week 16. So we'll keep an eye on when the the fixture shifts are going to be later on. And we'll take a look at some of the players' runs, and we can see where they have a really good period and a really bad period, and we can go through those as well. But it seems like I think game week 4, 5, 7, and 8 are good times as well. But you could think of it as 2 8-week chunks, basically, if you were to wildcard in game week 8 like I did last season. And then you also get unlimited transfers over the World Cup, so you don't have to worry about, oh, there's going to be a bunch of players injured from my team from the World Cup. Don't have to worry about that. It's perfectly fine. Also, some key players won't be going to the World Cup as well. So like Salah, as an example, Egypt didn't make it. So he won't be going to the World Cup, so you wouldn't have to worry about him. But we got unlimited transfer, so we can change anyone we want during that time, which also means a lot of price changes potentially during that time as well. So we have to keep an eye on that as well. But we've delayed it long enough. Let's go through team by team and see how things are. So let's start off with Arsenal. We'll probably skim through it fairly quickly for most of the teams, because they kind of release some of the prices for most of the big players that we really care about. So let's see if we can find any gems potentially. So we have Ramsdale. We saw Leonard 4.5 and Turner, the new goalkeeper. I believe he came from the MLS. 4.5 and 4 million respectively. Not really too big of a deal there. If Leno goes and then Ramsdale were to get injured or something, then Turner could be a good option. But otherwise than that, should be fine. Not really too keen on Ramsdale. Also, yeah, I like this new color scheme here, but having the when you put a player in, so if I put Ramsdale in, I don't really like this. It's too similar to the pitch, to be honest, which I don't really like too much, but the rest of it's pretty cool. I wonder if they were to do a dark mode, what that would look like. That would look pretty cool as well. Gabriel, 5 million we saw White, we saw Tierney, we saw Tomiyasu, he's going to be a big favorite. Tavares, Cedric, Holding, Mari, and Saliba all come at 4.5 million. Probably no surprises there, as they are all backups or potentially rotational risks, not really FPL options. Moving into the midfield, we saw Saka, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, Thomas Partey, Xhaka coming at 5 million. Nicolas Pepe at 5.5 million, so he's seen a significant price drop. Sambi Lakonga, El Neni, Maitland-Niles, 4.5, 5 million. Terrera at 4.5, Nelson at 5 million. Their 2 new signings, Vieira, and Marquinhos 6 million and 5 million respectively. So if they get a run, maybe they could be a nice asset there, as they're similar price to Martinelli. Marquinhos less so, but he is also much younger. And then Gabriel Jesus was a very big one, 8 million as a forward. What do you think of his price? He could be in a lot of game week 1 teams, I think, potentially. I mean, Arsenal's fixtures aren't fantastic. In the first 2, Crystal Palace away is going to be tough. Leicester at home, I mean, Leicester are a decent enough team. Also, Gabriel Jesus is apparently 43% owned already. But then they have a decent, like a really good run here from game week 4 to game week 8. And then their fixtures are kind of bad. 3 out of the top 3 teams in the 4 games in that period. This is what I'm saying about, like, you can have Arsenal players off the start and then wildcard them away. Or you can get them in for this run and then wildcard them away. And then you want them back potentially after the World Cup. So all in all, I think Jesus is probably the one that you'd be looking for there. Moving on to Aston Villa, do we see anything here? Also, there's a lot of backup goalkeepers that are 4 million, which is interesting, because if there's ever a goalkeeper dilemma, 4 million would be a very good price. Matty Cash, 5 million we saw. Mings comes in at 4.5. Digne, Konsa, who has an injury at the moment, 4.5. Chambers, Courtney House, Diego Carlos. We saw his price of 5 million. I think that's really weird, to be honest, because Cash and Digne are 5 million, and they're very good price points. I don't think Diego Carlos is going to be any value at 5 million. Like Cody at 5 million just doesn't make sense either. McGinn, Ramsey, Buendia, we've all seen. Douglas Luiz, I don't think we saw. He's at 5 million. We saw Coutinho. Leon Bailey at 5 million. So if he gets a run in the side, although he's very injury prone, could be of value. Nakamba Chukwuemeka, I think is how you pronounce his name. Could be potentially useful. Chukwuemeka could be potentially useful at 4.5 million as a potentially playing starting player at the cheapest possible price point. You got Traore, Sanson. I don't even know who this player. They must be new or something like that. El Ghazi, Kamara, and then they got a lot of. I can't. I'm not even going to try to pronounce them, but I know potentially they won't be FPL assets. But I know they're cheap, and if they do crop up as FPL assets, we'll be jumping right on them. I'll call him Phil. It makes it a lot easier. Watkins, we saw at 7.5. Ings at 7 million as well, so slightly cheaper there. Keenan Davis, who's come back after his loan spell at Nottingham Forest. And then Archer. Cameron Archer could be potentially in some teams, because I've seen some Villa sources saying that he could be involved in the first team much heavier than just being on the bench and not being used. So ones to keep an eye out there. Music was a bit low, so we'll turn it up a little bit. There we go. That's probably a little better. Right, moving on. Bournemouth. Again, not really anything exciting here, but if, Dennis, the goalkeeper, is playing over Travis, then you have 4 million goalkeeper. Again, a bunch of 4.5 million defenders. We're not really going to go there. The promotional team, and you got Arsenal defenders that are the same price. The only one realistically that could be of value, I think, in midfield could be Billing. Maybe David Brooks as well, who I believe he has been cured because he had a very serious condition, which he had to step aside from football for quite some time. I remember doing a post about him, and hopefully he's okay, and he seems to be back up and running, which would be fantastic to see, because he's a very young player, and he's very good as well. And then you have Solanke at 6 million. If he gets 10 goals, I don't think he can really complain too much. But I mean, the last time that he was, in and around the Premier League scene, I mean, just not what you're looking for here. 3 goals, 2 assists, not really the kind of scores you want to be seeing from even a budget option. Kiefer Moore as well could be potentially an option if he's played in the front too. 5.5 million, maybe. But again, Bournemouth's fixtures off the start are not great. Villa at home is still somewhat difficult. Then Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, just not great. Maybe afterwards, where they have a really good run, basically all the way up into the World Cup, which is right here. So you have to use your wild card before game week 16, basically, because afterwards you'll lose it. So Okay, moving on to the next team. We have Brentford. Raya is a fantastic price at 4.5 million. We really like his price, and the fixtures to open up aren't the greatest. You know, Leicester and Man United are not easy, but then they have really good fixtures for the rest of it, all the way up until basically the World Cup, with just Chelsea and City. You know, you play them once. Arsenal is at home, so even that's probably fairly comfortable, I would say. Could be, if Arsenal really step it up, it could be a problem, but we shall see. Canos is suspended, I think, because he got a red card in the last game. So if you buy Canos, don't buy him. Again, a bunch of 4.5 million defenders, unless you know Good or Thompson become FPL assets in some way at 4 million. I don't really see much reason to go for the defense other than Raya. Whistle would be the probably ones from the midfielders that it will most likely get significant minutes and could be playing out of position at times, because we saw him kind of drifting into the central roles when they were playing more of a 4-3-3, or at least a three-man front line. Josh Da Silva is a very interesting one at 4.5 million, because he was injured pretty much all of last season. He had a really bad injury, and he was the one kind of pulling the strings in the championship, and was one of the players that they missed last season. And at 4.5 million, if he takes over basically Eriksen's position, he could be absolutely fantastic, and is an option at 4.5 million. We'll come on to another one in a bit as well, at least one that I know of that I saw. Ivan Toney at 7 million. I think it's just a bit too expensive, personally, because if he doesn't get anything versus Leicester or Man United, which is very plausible, then you can see his price drop. And at 7 million, you don't want to see someone dropping price already. And then against Fulham and Everton and Crystal Palace and Leeds and Southampton, he could be getting some goals. But again, we want to see what Brentford's system is going to be. If it's a front two, then it probably favors Toney. If it's a front three, if it's a front two, it probably favors Mbomo, who has been reclassified to a forward at 6 million. We could see, him flourish in a front two. If it's like a 4-3-3 style system with Toney through the middle, then it could be more goals for Toney. But we will have to see if they play with like a number 10 or not. So again, probably just Toney and Raya, although we will keep an eye on Da Silva and how he came back from his injury, and Vissa if he's playing out of position. Brighton, Sanchez, very good price at 4.5 million. We like that. That's very good. Cucurella, potentially going to Man City, and at 5 million could be a fantastic price, but we'll wait and see. Dunk and Lamptey, both at 4.5 million. Those are great prices. We saw those in as well. Roberts is the only 4 million defender. If he plays, but probably not. Brighton's midfield, not really too much to kind of look at here. The only one would be potentially Jakob Motor, but currently he's flagged to have an injury. If he were to potentially play more games, he could be a budget 4.5 million option that you could just have, that is going to play in most games. And then the last one would be Undev at 4.5 million. He could be potentially a budget option, but seeing what Az was saying about Graham Potter, because he's a Brighton fan and watches them extensively, he seems to think that he's going to be better than Slowly, so we'll have to wait and see on him. But he could be a very good price if he actually does score goals, which Brighton's forwards typically don't do. Chelsea, real big one here. So Mendy we saw came in at 5 million. Azpilicueta comes in at, not Azpilicueta, Arisa Balaga, the other A, comes in at 4.5 million. Thiago Silva, Alonso, 5.5 million. Chalobah and Azpilicueta come in at 5 million. Sarr, Kennedy, Ampadu, all 5, 4, and 4.5, much cheaper. If Alonso stays at Chelsea and ends up being somewhat of an FPL asset, he could be somewhat useful. But the thing is, with the likes of Chilwell, now that he's back, Chilwell I think had the best points per minute before he was injured, so I think he could be super, super valuable, and I'm tempted to double up on both Reece James and Chilwell off the start. Mason Mount at 8 million, the most expensive midfielder, and then you just have a bunch of really cheap midfielders. Conor Gallagher, someone who was fantastic at Palace last season. He could play a vital role. Ziyech, if he stays and gets minutes, he could be fairly useful as well at 6 million. These prices are very, very cheap. Pulisic, if he's in there, again, we saw him at 6 million. There's a bunch of players that are just so cheap, and we'll see if they can get any form of value out of them. Havertz has been moved to a forward. He's an 8 million forward. I believe he was 8 or 8.5 million as a midfielder last season, so we'll have to see kind of how he goes. But if they bring in Raheem Sterling, then maybe Sterling plays through the middle and will be an out-of-position midfielder. Timo Werner maintains his forward status, which I think he should have probably been a left winger, but it's a bit weird on that one. But Timo Werner, I mean, look his stats were decent in his first season, but last season just wasn't an FPL asset at all, basically. So Chelsea's wait and see, and then Broja's gone back to Chelsea as he was loaned to Southampton. So he could be an interesting option if he is played through the middle. And will be a very cheap alternative into the system. Sam Johnston comes in at 4.5 million, the same as all the other Palace goalkeepers. So it's going to be, I mean, they have 3 goalkeepers that could all easily start. So that's a wait and see. Nathan Ferguson, long-time member, or most talked about player, I guess, on a frequent basis, who has yet to basically play any games on a consistent basis for Palace. He's just been super unlucky with injuries, to be honest. He had a long-term injury, came back, long-term injury again, and hopefully he can get some minutes, because this is the first time I mean, he was 4 million like a couple seasons ago, didn't play, then was injured again, but he got boosted up to 4.5 million, so nobody bought him anyway, and now he's back down to 4 million. So if he starts playing, he only has to basically beat Klein and Ward for that right back spot, which isn't hard to do, and he's a highly touted prospect, so hopefully he can be good in that regard. We got Zaha coming in at 7 million. All the cheaper midfielders, Eze and Elise, would be the ones that we would look at as well. Apart from that, not really too much going on. And then all the forwards, so Benteke is the same price as Mateta and Edward. So we shall see who is going to be the main forward there. Maybe later on, could be quite useful. Like I'm talking about the Game Week 8 wildcard, where their fixtures start to get much better. Because in the beginning, they have a horrendous start. Arsenal at home and then Liverpool away with Man City in Game Week 4. Not the greatest first 4 fixtures there. Moving on to Everton. Not really much to say here, apart from Begovic being a 4 million. Patterson is an interesting one. He could be one to watch as a 4 million playing defender, although I think we have so much value at 4.5 million, and as well as the wing backs, like the premiums from other like the bigger teams, that I don't even think a 4 million defender is even worth it. Maybe a midfielder if they were, but that's not going to happen because we need a 4.5 million midfielder, because that's the lowest price that they're going to be. Then we have a bunch of players at 5.5 million, pretty much everyone apart from Alan, Andre Gomez, and Tom Davies, and Gabaman as well. He's been injured a lot as well. I just think that Everton's not really the team you're going to go for. Rondon, he was suspended in the last game of the season, I believe, so he's going to serve that match ban. Calvert-Lewin is probably one of the biggest disappointments alongside Bamford. I mean, how do you go from 7.5 million to 8 million when you had a season where you played 1,281 minutes, you scored 5 goals and got 2 assists, but it felt like you scored none and assisted none, to be honest. He didn't do very well. How do you get a price increase when you went from 16 goals, 6 assists to 5 goals, 2 assists? It just makes no sense to me. So that's a big disappointment there. But he's the only forward now, apart from Rondon, so we shall see. Fulham, Rodak, the main goalkeeper there. We have Paulo. He is also formerly of Spurs as well. I don't think he played very many games, but he could be... I mean, he played in a lot of competitions, but not the Premier League. Kongolo could be an interesting one. I'm not sure how. We'll have to take a look into when we go to look at Fulham, if he's been playing or will be playing some games, because 4 million again could be quite useful. Midfield, nothing really to go off of apart from Harry Wilson. Could be of value here. Caballero, who is often playing in a front 2 at times, a couple seasons ago. Decordova-Reid and Cabano were also mentioned in the price reveals. And then obviously Mitrovic, 6.5 million. I mean, he had a crazy season in the Championship, but last time he was in the Premier League, 3 goals, 3 assists, just not very good at all. Didn't play very many minutes either. Got like taken out of the team when he played basically a full season in 2018-19. 11 goals, 4 assists. Not bad, not bad. We'll probably want a little bit more at being 6.5 million. Also, Andres Pereira, who is priced at 4.5 million, which we'll see at in Manchester United's team currently, is looking like he's going to Fulham, all pretty much set and done, and he is going to be potentially their 4.5 million number 10, as it were, which would be great for FPL as a budget option. Melier being reduced in price, we saw that. Dallas at 5 million is a defender now as well, again, because he played a lot at fullback, which could prove to be fairly interesting if he is playing out of position. Again, he came in the league before and was very, very good. 5 million though, again, a bit disappointing. Luke Ayling, 4.5 million. That price is fine, but Leeds defense needs to get better. And then the new signing, Christensen, he, again, 5 million is just a disappointing price, I think. Dan James and Harrison we saw at 6 million. Rafinha was the one they hid. 7 million at Chelsea could be a very good price, but we'll wait and see on that. We saw that Rodrigo got moved to a midfielder as well, as he was often playing like the in behind the striker role. Bamford, again, like we said, was very disappointing to see his price at 7.5 million. Sam Greenwood could be interesting at 4.5 million as a budget option off the bench when you just need a point or two every now and again. Moving on to Leicester. So one of the big names, Castagne, another fullback at 4.5 million. Very, very cheap and could be of use. We saw his fantastic one goal that you see there was an absolute screamer. If he's playing and Justin's playing, you could have some options if Leicester really pick it up. Vestergaard at 4 million could be interesting as well if they're playing a back three and he's involved game in, game out. We saw Madison Barnes' price as well. Nothing else really crazy here. Vardy at 9.5 million. I think it's probably maybe 9. I think I can't remember if I put him at 9.5 million, but we'll have to go and check afterwards once we've taken a look at everyone. Moving on to Liverpool. So Alisson we saw at 5.5 million. Trent, Robertson, Van Dijk, Matip comes in at 6 million. The backup's coming at 4.5 million. If Konate gets a consistent run of games at 5 million, could be of value. Gomez 4.5 million. The backup, Calvin Ramsey, who I believe is the backup to Trent Alexander-Arnold, if he were to get injured, 4 million defender could be on the cards. I think Luis Diaz being 8 million. He's a bit of a steal, to be honest. I think he could be better value, assuming he improves his end product, than the likes of Jota and Darwin Nunez. Firmino comes in at 8 million as well. Not really going to be an FPL asset, personally. I mean, look, he only played 980 minutes in the Prem. That's not very much at all, but his actual strike rate was pretty good when he did play, which is weird to think about. But Klopp might be changing formation, as will potentially Pep Guardiola. And speaking of Pep Guardiola, here's Manchester City, which they have some 4.0 backups. Ederson, 5.5 million, as we expected. He's the goalkeepers. I really like the pricing of the goalkeepers. I really like them. The only one I'm not too favorable of is Pope at 5 million. They could have made him 4.5, but you know, that's kind of nitpicking there. But I like the fact that the goalkeepers have come down in price. In defense, Laporte and Diaz at the same price as well. Nathan Ake, if he goes to Chelsea, could be a 5 million defender. De Bruyne, Sterling at 10 million. He could be a good asset at Chelsea at 10 million, especially if he's playing out of position. And then Palmer, McAtee, these sorts of players, if they actually play in the team, could be of use. Julian Alvarez at 6.5 million. If we see some weird like front two formation with him in it, he could be very useful as well. But everyone's going to be going for Erling Haaland, of course. Moving on to, I believe it's Manchester United. So Maguire comes in at 5 million. He was one of the defenders that was off the list. Same with Delo, 4.5 million. Wan-Bissaka at 4.5 million. So a bit of rotation there. Weird they put the right backs at 4.5 million, but the left backs at 5 million. Very, very interesting. Brandon Williams, Phil Jones, and Eric Bailly are at 4 million as well. So if they leave or if they stay, probably not going to be FPL assets, but we'll wait and see. And then, like I said, Andres Pereira, 4.5 million, going to Fulham on a permanent deal as well. Could be very, very useful and a very, very good price. And then forwards, Martial was the other one, 7 million. Could he be of value to us? We'll have to wait and see. If Ronaldo leaves, he's literally the only forward in fantasy, basically, and we'll need to fill those shoes up front. We'll have to wait and see. Nick Pope, 5 million. Again, we mentioned it just previously that he could be, if he had been 4.5 million, that'd be quite good. Target, see, this is where some good pricing comes in. Target and Trippier, 5 million. And then you have the center backs, which they have a lot of. Just defenders in general are 4.5 million. Sven Botman, new signing, comes in at 4.5 million as well. St. Maximin and Joe Linton been reclassified to midfielders, and rightly so, with basically the same prices. As we mentioned, Almiron at 5 million. Don't really think that matters too much at all. Fraser at 5.5. Not really looking too much there. From Newcastle, I think Trippier is going to be the main one at 5 million. Could be a very, very good player. Newcastle's fixtures will have to start. Pretty good. Pretty good. At least in the first 4. If you look at the first 5, it's not ideal, but 4 out of the first 6 are favorable, you would say. And all things considered, up until game week 10, they only have 2 realistically tough fixtures. West Ham away could be tricky, but I think, you know, Newcastle might, with their signings, could be good enough to at least test West Ham. Moving on to newly promoted Nottingham Forest. Samba has already been announced to be leaving and going to, I think it's Lens, I think is how you pronounce it, in Ligue 1 or the second tier French league, I'm not sure, which means Dean Henderson, who comes in at 4.5 million, is going to be the goalkeeper of choice. Again, moving into defense, unless, you know, this guy Drager or Panzo are going to be the, you know, starting choices, then again, but even again, defense is something that there are a lot of options there as well. So not really too much to look at there. The only real kind of potential is their new striker here at 6 million. We saw his price initially. They only released like 4 players or whatever it was initially, did Forest. Southampton, we expect Bazunu to be their starting goalkeeper at 4.5 million. That makes the most sense to me. Livramento at 4.5 million when he comes back, but again, out long term, could be of use. Perot, 4.5 million, looks to be quite good. Walker Peters at 4.5 million, again, very good budget options. In midfield, nothing really too crazy there, unless you get a real budget option at, like, you know, Walcott or somebody like that, if they really pick it up. And then we have Che Adams, who I think is still probably a bit too expensive at 6.5 million. Adam Armstrong, if he actually maintained some form but didn't play all that much under Hasenhüttl initially from his move from the Championship, or I think it was Blackburn from the Championship. I could be wrong. Spurs, as we saw, Lloris, 5.5 million. Makes sense, but he would have been gold at 5 million, I think. We have Reguilon at 4.5 million, which is very, very interesting. Sessegnon at 4.5 million. So we have 4.5 million backups. Perisic we saw at 5.5 million. That makes sense. Tanganga, if he ever starts getting consistent starts at 4 million, could be a bit of a bargain. Emerson Royale coming in slightly cheaper than Perisic. Son at 12 million is the highlight. Not really too much else there either. If Harry Winks goes to any team on loan, basically in the Premier League, which it seems like he might do after they signed Basuma. They also have a Bentancur and they have Højbjerg, who are going to be occupying those spots, and Harry Winks could be surplus to requirements, basically. And if he goes to a team and he's playing in more like an attacking role, 4.5 million could be of use. Richarlison, for those of note, because of the I think it was the flare incident. I need to drink some water, stop the yawns, and have them go away. The flare incident on... Was it the last game of the season? The second last game of the season? I can't remember. But basically, he's suspended for that game. So, he can't play, which means his first game is going to be probably Chelsea away if he were to start. But Spurs' opening 6 are actually quite good, apart from the Chelsea away fixture, which is a shame because everyone's eyeing up the likes of Erling Haaland and Son. But, again, there's just no room for them, I guess. Maybe we'll see Son and Kane link up again and be like, oh, right, that's why we picked them last season. But they are fairly expensive. They're the exact same price point as Haaland and De Bruyne. Last two teams now, we got Fabianski and Areola. So if Areola starts, again, 4.5 million for West Ham. Goalkeeper would be quite good. New signing, Aguero is probably going to be the left-sided centre-back alongside Kurt Zouma, who comes in at 4.5 million, which is interesting. Dawson at 5 million, I think is probably overpriced unless they're going to play a back three. Cresswell could play... Oh, excuse me. I apologize greatly. Need to get those yawns. Those yawns need to go away very, very quick because we've got to build a team here. We got to build a team. How can I be yawning when FPL's live and brand new? It's probably because I rushed home. But yeah, the first fixture is the one of the worst you can get, which is Man City, and then the fixtures are very good. Pretty much up until and including game week 13. You know, they have the tough fixture against Liverpool at Anfield. Spurs in game week 5 isn't great, but all things considered should be perfectly fine. Midfielders, we saw basically all of those, and then Antonio, the lone forward. Now, lastly, Wolves. Again, I think that the pricing for the likes of Cody just doesn't make sense. Johnny could be a very good asset. Again, another 4.5 million defender looks quite good. Midfield, Hwang has been moved to a midfielder, but will he end up playing out of position? We will see. Jimenez is probably another forward. A weird fall from grace because of that injury. I mean, look at the 2018-19 and 2019-20 seasons. Just fantastic numbers. And then just a massive drop-off. Mainly because in the 2020-21 season, he had the head injury very early on. And then since which hasn't really found that form again. So we'll have to see how that one goes. And then Fabio Silva, 5.5 million. Dama Traore, 5.5 million. I think everyone's looking at Neto just because he can play through the middle and looked good when he did come back because he was injured for a long time. But Wolves are just a bit of an anomaly in general. Now, let's go through all the players. So if we go to... let's go to Arsenal. So we have the Google Sheets open. So what I'll do is in this column, if the predicted price for FPL is right, we'll put in X, and if not, and if this column, this is going to be my price. So let's see, how are we going to do this here? Oh, it's cut off, unfortunately. What I'll have to do is I might have to do it at a, unless I just move this across. Let me see, can I just like, there we go. Right, so these were, so zeros is going to be no points, and ones is going to be we did get it right. So these are both zeros. These are both zeros. Mendy did not come in at 6 million or 5.5. He came in at 5 million. Lloris did come at 5.5 million, and we predicted that right. So, one there. Actually, let's do some. Here's some spreadsheet work, for all that that like to work in spreadsheets. Ramsdale, I predicted him. Thought FPL was going to come in at 5.5. My prices, I would have had him at 5 million, and guess what? He came in at 5 million, so we actually got that one right. De Gea, 5 million, 5 million. We both got that right. Fabianski came in at 5 million as well. Schmeichel at 5 million. Sanchez was actually wrong. Saw at 5 million was correct. Dubravka came at 4.5, but again, Nick Pope, we didn't expect him to go there. Guaita, Raya, those are 4.5 as well. Martinez, I wanted him to come in at 4.5. He didn't. So FPL gets a point there. So FPL and me. McCarthy, I believe, came in at 4.5 as well. Pickford was 4.5. Got that one right. Melier 4.5. And we got the rest of the goalkeepers. Right, so even score through the first pass of players. So yeah, not too bad off the start. So we predicted some prices. Where did we basically miss? So we missed on Martinez, who ended up coming in at 5 million. But we got Ramsdale correct. And then everything else was even. Moving on to the defenders. So let me see if I can... just maneuver this over. Oop, went too far. Okay, so FPL. FPL, me. Right, so I'm going to get some of these wrong. So FPL got that one right. I got that one wrong because they put him at 7 million, but he should be 7.5. I got Diaz right, though, because I want him at 6 million. Zinchenko, what was Zinchenko? Let's go to Manchester City. Zinchenko came in at 5 million. We got that one right on both sides. Walker actually came in at 5 million, so we both got that one wrong. Laporte, I got that one wrong, as did FPL. Stones, I believe, did come in at 5.5. He did. Ake at 5 million as well. So let me go. I'm going to go down the bottom here. So equals sum. So even Steven so far. Trent, FPL gets his price right there because I wanted him at 8.5. Robertson, both wrong there. Van Dijk, both right. Konate actually came in at 5 million, which was interesting. So we both got that one wrong. I thought he would come in at 6 million. Matip did come in at 6 million. I predicted that FPL would put him at 6 million, so we got that one right. Gomez and Tsimikas were both incorrect. Again, got that one wrong. FPL got this, or that what I thought FPL would do was wrong as well. And Reece James, 5.5 for Thiago Silva, and Chalobah at 5 million as well. We also got correct. Perisic, I thought he was going to come at 6 million, but my price, I wanted him at 5.5, and he did come in at 5.5, so we got one up on FPL there. Doherty was both wrong. He came in at 5 million, which is actually very cheap. Dyer, Sanchez, Davies, Romero, and Sessegnon. Sessegnon I know was wrong. Romero, I want to say, was 5 million as well. Let's go back to Spurs. Spurs. Davies was 5. Dyer was 5. Sanchez was 4.5. Who was I looking for? Romero. Romero was 5 million as well. So Romero was wrong on both accounts. And these were... Oh, Sanchez was wrong. Tierney, I want to see it come at 5.5, but again, they priced him at 5 million. I feel this is going to be quite a comfortable win, I think, for FPL, because I would have priced the fullbacks higher, but again, it is what it is. I believe Gabriel was right at 5 million, and then Holding, Cedric, Tavares, White, and Tomiyasu were all actually incorrect. They were all 4.5. Wan-Bissaka was, he came in at 4.5, which was actually quite interesting. Maguire was correct. Shaw I wanted at slightly higher because he's a wingback, but again, he came in at 5 million, so FPL is going to get that one. Lindelof was 4.5 million. Let's see. Victor Lindelof came in at 4.5. We got one. It's good pricing by FPL. Tellez at 5 million. He did come in at 5 million. Varane, I wanted him to come at 5. He did. Fantastic. So we got another one over FPL. Delo, I put him at 5.5, but he came in at 4.5 anyway, so we didn't get burnt there. Cresswell was incorrect. Dawson came in at 5 million, so that was right. Ogbonna, I believe, came in at 4.5 or 5 million. Where's West Ham? West Ham. Ogbonna, 4.5 million, so we were wrong there. Sufal, I believe, came at 4.5, so we're wrong there. Diop, I think he's at 4.5 million. Yep, he is, so we got that one wrong. Why did I put him at 5 million? I don't understand. Maybe I was thinking of the wrong player. Anyway. Maybe messed up there. Johnson, 4.5, I believe is correct. It is. And then Zuma was wrong because he came in at 4.5 million. Well, I know all of these are wrong because all of the Leicester defenders are 4.5 million basically. So all of those are wrong. Really got those ones wrong there. These ones are wrong as well because Veltman, Webster, Dunk, Lamptey's wrong as well. Kukurea, FPL got it right and I didn't. Semedo is correct. Bali, I think I got at 4.5. And Kilman, I got at 4.5 as well. Let me just double check that for Wolves. Bali and Kilman, yep. I expect them to come at 5 million, much like Cody as well. So we end up beating the system, as it were, on that. Aitnori, I don't even think was Marcel a lone player because I don't see him in the list. Anyway, we both got them wrong anyway. Cody, I got right, and then Johnny both got wrong. Richie came in at 4.5, so I got that one wrong. All of these guys were 4.5. Fabian Scher, I think, came in at 4.5 as well. Just going to double check that. Fabian Scher is correct. That's a 0, though. And then Dan Byrne I got right as well. Ferguson gets one on the board. Mitchell, I think, is 4.5 as well. I think all the Palace defenders are 4.5 from my recollection. As are all the Brentford defenders. Cash actually came in at 5 million, so we got that one wrong. Konsa, 4.5, that's correct. Ashley Young. Is Ashley Young still there? Ashley Young. He's not even in the list. So we'll just chalk him up as a 0. Digne, again, we got that one wrong because we want the fullbacks to be slightly higher. Mings, we put at 4.5, but we got Diego Carlos wrong, so... there we go. Southampton, Walker-Peters we got wrong. Salisu was correct. Perot was wrong. Bednarek was correct. Livramento was wrong. All the Everton defenders were 4.5, so those are all correct, except for Mikolenko, which we got wrong, but I guess it makes sense. Junior Firpo, is Junior Firpo, was he a lone E? No, he comes in at 4.5 million again, so we got that one wrong. Yikes. The Mikolenko score should be the other way around. Strauk at 4.5. Did he play his defense as well? And I think FPL is just going to edge it because we got this one wrong here as well. So even if the scores are the same, FPL edges out by 1 point on the defenders. Not ideal. But if we say how many of these rows are there? So that's what, 103? So we got over 50% of the prices correct for defenders. It's not terrible, actually. Not terrible. Not terrible at all. Because some prices are obviously wacky and wonky. So FPL is currently up 1 point based on what I think that their prices were going to be. Moving into the midfielders, let's move these over here. Much less players here, much less players up front as well. Let's put them in this column. Let's make them a bit wider. Okay, so we got FPL, we got me. So De Bruyne came in at 12, but I said his price should be 11. Got that one wrong. Sterling, I thought FPL put him at 10.5. They put him at 10, so we got that one right. Mahrez was wrong because he's 8 million. Grealish came in at 7, actually, which is a surprise. Foden at 8, that was bang on both sides. Gundogan came in at 7.5, so that was incorrect. Jesus is 8 million and not a midfielder. Bernardo Silva, I believe, is 7 million. Let's just double check that. Bernardo Silva, 7 million he is, so we got that one wrong as well. 13 million, but Salah ends up coming as 13.5, so 1 point to FPL. Mane, we'll chalk that up as a donut because he moved to Bayern Munich. Minamino is going to some other, I can't even remember which club. Leon? Was it Leon? I can't remember. Thiago and Keita. Let's see. Thiago 5.5, Keita 5 million. Good guesses there. Pulisic came in at 6 million, as did Ziyech. Mount was bang on. Gallagher actually came in at 6 million, so we were both wrong there. Son at 12 million. I expected FPL to price him at that as well. Lucas Moura was actually 6 million. And Kulusevski at 8 million. Saka, I thought, should come in at 7.5 personally, but he came in at 8 million. So again, we're behind the 8 ball there. Smith Rowe and Martinelli were both 6 million, but Odegaard was 6.5. Bruno Fernandes actually came in at 10 million, so we're both wrong there. Rashford was wrong as well, came in at 6.5 million. Van der Beek was 5.5. Jadon Sancho was 7.5. And Fred, I believe, came in at 5 million. So FPL may have nicked another one from me. Mind you, defensive midfielders, they just priced weird. No, he actually came in 5.5. Very wonky. So both wrong there. Let me put the sums down the bottom. Equals sum. Whee, straight to the top. Bowen actually came in at 8.5, so both wrong there. Fornals, Lanzini, and Ben Rama, I think, are all wrong as well. So very wrong on these midfielder prices. Souček, did he come in at 5 million? I think he did, actually. No, he came in at 5.5 because Declan Rice came in at 5 million. Yeah, for some reason they put Souček at 5.5 million, which makes no sense. So FPL gets another point. Madison came in at 8. Again, FPL burning me on the midfielders here. Barnes I got right, though. Barnes came in at 7 million. Great. Tielemans the same. I think I might have got one on Iosi Perez here, too. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Iosi Perez. Ooh, 5 million. We missed the mark again. We missed the mark again. Trossard was right. Mwepu, I think, was 4.5. So those are wrong. Gross, March, and Basuma. Well, Basuma's over at Spurs, so he's a different price, so I think that's wrong. Sully, March. Really not been great on the midfielders. March is 5, Gross is 5.5, so both wrong there. Neto was actually 5.5, so wrong there. Is Trincao? He was alone, I believe. Yes, he was. And the rest of the midfielders are 5.5, basically. So nothing there. Trier is the same. Podence is the same. Frazier, 5.5 is fine. Almiron was actually 5 million. St. Maximin, 6.5. Jolinton, 6. Willock was actually 5 million. Bruno Guimaraes, we got right. I expected FPL to put him at 6.5. They put him at 6 instead. Zaha was actually 7 million. So we got that one wrong. Elise and Eze, I expected them to both go to 6 million. By FPL standards, they were 5.5. So we got that one right. Mbomo is actually not a midfielder, so that was wrong. De Silva is actually 4.5 million, which is weird. Eriksson is going to United by the looks of it, and Nordgaard I think is actually 5 million, which is very annoying. Let's see, Brentford, Nordgaard is 5.5. Woo, we escaped with one there. Emi Buendia, we got the pricing right there. I thought FPL would surely put him at 6.5. Ramsey was 5.5, so wrong there. McGinn, I believe, is actually 5.5, which is a bit annoying. Mind you, I think I'm still getting smashed. FPL's beating us here. McGinn, 5.5. Yep, there he is. So, Coutinho was 7 million. Trier was actually 5.5, so both wrong there. And same with El Ghazi wasn't 6 million, I remember that. Ward-Prowse was 6.5. Redmond, Armstrong, Walcott, and Elianusi I put at 5.5. So let's see what they are. Redmond was 5.5, so was Elianusi. Walcott was 5 million, and Armstrong was 5 million. So 2 out of the 4, but I predicted FPL wouldn't get any of those. So FPL got a bunch of zeros. We got one there, and then 2 zeros. Iwobi, I wanted to see 5.5 million. Decore was, so we got 1 point there for FPL, and then 1 point there for me. Gray, 5.5. Townsend is 5.5. Gordon is 5.5. Rafinha was wrong. He came in at 7 million. Harrison came in at 6 million, so we lost the point there. Dallas did come in at 5 million, but not as a midfielder, but I did get his price right, so we'll take those. Phillips plays for Man City. He's 5 million anyway. So that one kind of does... I'll put the point for FPL. Why not? Am I... Oh, I'm winning, actually, apparently. Okay. And then Dan James I got wrong. So I actually beat FPL by 2 points. I'm +1 up going into the final round here of forwards. So yeah, we were even Steven. FPL was up 1, and then now I'm up 2. So pretty close, actually. Right, moving on to the forwards. Let's just cut this and move it over. And then move it back. And then make the columns a little too big there. There we go. FPL. And then you got me. Julian Alvarez, both wrong. Holland, both wrong. This is where things are going to actually get real interesting, because I think the forwards are actually priced pretty badly. Jota, both wrong. Firmino actually came in at 8 million, so we're even now. Lukaku doesn't count. Werner I got right, so we're ahead. Havertz I got right, so we're ahead 2 now. Kane, both wrong. Nketiah, FPL got 1 back. Martial, both wrong. Ronaldo's actually 10.5, so both wrong. Antonio, FPL got 1 back. I think we're even now. Vardy, I got right. Daka, we both got wrong, but Iheanacho, I got right. Mope and Welbeck, FPL got both of these because they put them at 6.5 for some crazy reason, I believe. They put them at 6.5? Yeah, they did. Damn. Let me put the... sum here. Jimenez, I would have put him at 6.5, but again, so got one wrong. Fabio Silva, we got right because I thought they put him slightly higher. Wilson, FPL got right, so we're going back and forth here. Chris Wood, we got right. FPL got it wrong. Gale, I think, was 4.5. All of these 3 are wrong. Tony is wrong as well. Ings I got right, but Watkins I got wrong. Adams I got wrong. Armstrong I got right. Calvert-Lewin we both got wrong. Richarlison was wrong on both accords, and Bamford was wrong as well. So at the end of the day, I got plus 1 there, plus 2 there, which makes plus 3, minus 1 there, which means plus 2, and then even there. So overall, I got 2%, or two more correct than FPL, which I'm happy with, to be honest. We managed to beat FPL, or what I thought FPL was going to price them at based on like how I saw their previous price schemes. It's a little bit one-sided, but all things considered. So if we go to goalkeepers, how many of these were there? So we got 15 out of the 19 goalkeepers correct. Defenders, we got like half of them correct. Midfielders, we got, what's that, 80? We only got like 25% of them correct, which isn't good. And then the forwards, we got like a third of them correct, which isn't great. But so our percentage overall probably isn't that good, but price predicting's hard, basically. Now, we've been going for an hour and 3 minutes now. Time to get into the real part where we actually pick our team. So, 100 million. Let's see how we go. So, let's put in the no-brainers off the start. It just makes sense to do it, right? Salah. Bang. In the team. No thinking there. Haaland. No thinking in the team. Bang. Alexander-Arnold in the team. No thinking. Bang. Cancelo's in there. No thinking required. More than likely a 4.5 million forward, which we'll put as Greenwood. 4.5 million defender or midfielder. Pereira, most likely. He's going in there. Just makes sense. Again, these are no-brainers. to me, to be honest. Edouard Mendy, 5 million. Chelsea's fixtures are pretty good, basically all the way up until the World Cup. Then they get a bit dicey, and then they're okay. But I think Mendy's score probably doesn't reflect if they were actually get some good defenders. Mendy could be amazing value at 5 million. So Mendy's in there for the time being. He could be changed. We'll see. Which means we'll probably have a 4 million goalkeeper, which will do Steele, I guess. Because I know he still plays for Brighton. Next, Reece James. No questions. He's in. Chilwell is probably in there as well. Who else? Now this is where we need to decide if we want Diaz or if we want Robertson. And this position could change how the team looks. I just think Robertson's so good. And if we look at Liverpool's fixtures, I mean, they could be keeping clean sheets in a lot of those. But a lot of those games are at home as well, which means Diaz could be, fired up for that. So, we shall see. I'll put in... well, we want Perisic as well, right? Because Perisic is just so good at 5.5 million. Just doesn't make sense not to have him. So Perisic is going to be in there, which means we have to have Diaz. Almost certainly. So he kind of picks himself. What we got? 17.5 million. We're playing 5 at the back every week, which means probably what? We're playing 4 in midfield. So maybe that means we have a cheap forward. So let's go Archer, I guess. 13 million to spend. So we got, what, like a 7 million or like a 6 million or something like that? Well, I know Neto's fixtures are pretty good off the start. At least in the first 2. Tottenham away is kind of, a bit, eh. You can always get rid of him after game week 6. Like, these opening 5 are, decent. And he's also 5.5 million, so you can always just get rid of him. And then we can have a 7.5 million midfielder. So, 0.5 off of having an 8 million midfielder. Maybe like a Saka or somebody like that. If Grealish does well, then maybe we could start with him. Or looks to be starting. Then we have 0.5 million to spare. I like the looks of that team a lot already, actually. With 0.5 million to spare. We have the 8 million slot. We got some expensive defenders. We have the premium slot there. But I mean, trying to, like... What if we want, like, Sterling? So if we had Sterling instead of Diaz, which means Grealish would have to go down to, like, a cheap midfielder. But then we'd have nothing up front to cover that. That's if Sterling does go to Chelsea, by the way. We don't want to have a bunch of Spurs players playing against Chelsea, though. Like a 0-0 in this game would be great with our current setup. Yeah, I think that seems not bad. I mean, it has no bench, basically. Because Pereira, I mean, if Pereira plays, he plays. These two probably won't play. I think this team is a good base, actually. Also, you can see how laggy the site is. Must be a lot of people on. Yeah, I think this is actually a good base to go with, so we'll run with this for now. Choose my favorite club. Well, unfortunately, it's Man United. Team name. What do we have? Hop, skip, Jorginho last time. We had Air Force Juan for Juan Mata. Trying to think of a good team name. Netflix and Chillwell. It's not a bad name. Because of Netflix and Chill, obviously. Need some inspiration. Maybe I'll just have to think on it. Guess I'll just put temp name for now. We'll change it later. So let's see. If we go to game week history, what's our ID? 484517. Not bad. And they've got it updated to where, as you can see, your rank as well. So if you want to see your ID, I have it cut off. But basically, you go to game week history, and then you just look up at the very, very top, the number that's in the URL is your team ID. So, the benches. That was, I don't know if you guys saw that. That was really weird. But yeah, Perisic is definitely in. Grealish would be in. Pereira would probably be first sub. Archer maybe second. Something like that. Salah would be El Capitan. Holland would be the vice captain. Yeah, something like that, I think. Just makes the most sense, to be honest. I mean, if we're matching up the color scheme, though. Diaz goes there. Cancelo goes there. So we have like the three like that. The red there. So, yeah, something like that. You can go for a bench boost team off the start as well. Let's fix the league as well. So renew my leagues. Renew Flames Recruit. Leagues. Flames Recruit. Invite people. There's the new league code. Okay, league code. Let's put it up on the screen. League code. There's the new league code. It's got to come over some, though. Gotta bring it over a little more. That's a little better. There we go. League code is done. So you can join that league. Right, so that's our team at the moment. Yeah, the site is real laggy. They're gonna have to fix that. Yeah, you can see even the names are like blurred as well. I really don't like this color here, just because it's too similar. Um, like you can still see it, but it's like too similar to the pitch basically. Um, I do like this though. It's like kind of blue and yellow, blue and green, whatever color it is, off to the side there. I think that looks pretty cool. But yeah, that's our team. I think that team looks. If Grealish like starts, then it's good. But like if Martinelli starts, instead of Diaz, we can go like another 8 million midfielder, like a Foden or something like that. Get Robertson and then just get a 6 million midfielder. If we didn't like trust Perisic, basically, so we could do something like this. So we could do instead of Perisic, you can go Robertson. Instead of Diaz, you would go Sir Philip of Foden. Instead of Grealish, you can go like Martinelli if he's starting, which he should be, I would think. So who are we thinking? We're thinking what? Like Martinelli off the left, Saka off the right, Jesus through the middle, Odegaard in the 10, play with a flat 2. Or Odegaard plays in the midfield 3. Maybe something like that. Yeah, something like that. Oh, we gotta do it this way. So Trent's gotta go in, because he's gonna be right. Then Robertson. And then Salah can just swap sides. Or unless, no, we need to do this. So Cancelo. Then it's Reece James. Then it's Chilwell. Then we have Martinelli. Swap with Salah. Salah goes there. Foden can swap with Neto, who can swap with Martinelli, who can swap with Pereira. There we go. And we got a nice color scheme going there. That's a little better. Gotta have the color scheme on point. Gotta have the team looking good. Right, let's design the kit. So last season, I think we had like an Inter looking kit, like a blue and black. Let's go for something a bit different. I know we can go for... Let's go for something a bit crazy. What would be like the hex code of like purple? Let me see. Let's see. Let's see. So let's take this. This is a pretty good looking purple. A pretty good looking purple. Let's go like a purple and white or something. Maybe we do stripes? Do we do hoops? Or maybe the sleeves are... Maybe the sleeves are purple. Sleeves are purple as well. And we do stripes. Where's plain? I think the hoops look cool. What do the sponsors look like? That one's not great. That one's not great. Rainbow lace looks weird. No room for racism looks pretty good. All stands together. It's just, I mean, it's yellow. I think the no room for racism one looks good. The shorts are gonna be the same purple, I think. The socks are gonna be white, but they're gonna have hoops, and the hoop color is gonna be purple. Like that. There we go. That's the kit. Purple and white. Let's have it. So maybe we gotta do a name off of like purple somehow. I'll have to think about it. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this stream. It was a long one, hour 20. We looked at the spreadsheets where I just came out on top over what I thought FPL was gonna do. Although my prediction score overall wasn't ideal. That's the team that I've gone with at the moment. Looks pretty good, to be honest. I've gone with some pretty sure bets for the most part. Like, the whole back line should probably be fine. Salah, Haaland, Foden, I think should be good, especially if Sterling goes. As does if Bernardo Silva goes as well. It just depends on where he's going to play. Neto is just a cheap budget enabler. Martinelli, assuming he plays, basically, should be fine. If we feel that Foden's a rotation risk, then maybe Saka at 8 million. I'm not too keen on Arsenal, because Crystal Palace away is difficult. Leicester at home could be difficult, but overall I think they're, could be good. Maybe we go for Ramsdale in goal just to kind of spread it out a little bit. But you could genuinely get a team full of the teams that came in the top like 5 or 6. I think with this setup personally, there's no like Perisic as an example. Maybe Kulusevski instead of Foden is what we go for, because I don't think there's any way we can kind of get Son. Is there a way we can get Son? Robertson would have to come way down to, let's say if Robertson, I'm just going to mess around with that just before we sign off here. If we wanted, instead of Foden, we wanted Son. We need to find 4 million somewhere. So Robertson would come down to, let's say, James Justin, as an example. Well, we would still want Perisic, maybe. Perisic. Can we get a cheap... We gotta take off 2.5 million somewhere. Yikes. Don't think that's potentially doable. Unless Salah comes out of the team, which I don't think I'm crazy enough to do that. Maybe one of James or Chilwell comes out. Even then, we're still scraping the barrel here. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work unless I'm not seeing something. So, anyway, this is the team that we have at the moment, playing in the purple and white. We got Mendy in goal with Steele as his backup. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Cancelo, James, Chilwell, Salah captain, Martinelli, Foden, Neto, Haaland with the vice captaincy with cheapest chips on the bench with Steele, Andreas Pereira, Archer, and Greenwood. Let me know what you think about the team. So yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Be on the lookout because we have a whole bunch of videos coming out for our preseason reviews of the teams, where we take a look at what assets I think could be potentially good and what assets I think could be potentially bad and what transfer business they are doing. We're going to be doing one for each team. Yeah, so we get a little bit more info. It gives me a reason to go out and look at the teams and see how they played in the past, what positions they're looking at to potentially fill. So if there's maybe a 4.5 million midfielder that looks to be playing, but all of a sudden just isn't because they're buying a player that's going to take up that spot, we can look at these sorts of things. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below. We live stream these over on Twitch. We're not going to be doing any streams for a while, up until probably the preview, which is going to be in about a month's time, the week leading up to it. And I'm hopefully going to be able to be here for the deadline stream, which is on a Friday, which normally wouldn't happen, but I might be able to do it. So keep an eye out for that one, because we'll let you know on socials for sure. But hopefully I can get that maybe that time off so that I can come and do that. That would be great. I would have my team ready to go beforehand and wouldn't want to do anything crazy or any changes like that. Yeah, I'll probably gonna have something like this. I really like 5 at the back. I really do. I think there's just so much value there. It's just a matter of if there's a gem in midfield that we can find that might alleviate something. Maybe Mendy doesn't look that great, or Chelsea's defense doesn't look that great. Then we can take a look, see. But overall, I think this could be ideal, to be honest. Maybe I'm overlooking the forwards. Maybe I'm overlooking Spurs as well, because again, we could have Perisic instead of Robertson. Then we would need to find 0.5 minutes. So we can easily do, instead of let's say Martinelli, Robertson, and Mendy, we can go Perisic, Saka, or Diaz, and then a 4.5 million goalkeeper. So again, there's many different ways you can shape it, but maybe we can be a bit more risky. Maybe we do go 3 premiums off the start, because we know we have that added assurance of the wild card after game week 16, because of the unlimited transfers for the World Cup as well. Also, finally, before we sign off, let me bring up one other thing as well. I have to talk about it because I said that I would. So 2 things. 1, the Flames recruit winner, the second inaugural. It's not really a word. The second champion of the Flames Recruits League since it's been in existence was Mayrain Soyah. So if you can get into contact with me, my email is over on my Twitter. That's all for all business inquiries. Send me an email. Let me know, and show me your proof of your team, basically from before. Like you can send me a short clip or something of you logging into your team, and we'll send you a little Amazon gift card or something like that. But yeah, we just need proof that it's actually you. And then the Flames Recruit Cup champion, the inaugural Flames Recruit Cup champion, was Kerwin Vere. Make sure to again show me a quick video. You can block out you logging into your team, or how long your password is and whatnot in your email. Well, I probably need to see the email because you're gonna send me that video. And make sure to let me know. I will make a post about it on Twitter at a later time as well if I don't receive contact. So again, make sure to contact me, and there could be a little bit of a prize for you if you are to do so. And your name will also be in the description for the entire season as well, and even on the preseason videos. So that's always nice as well. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Let's move over to one more thing before we sign off. So, Fantasy Football Scout has a fantastic members area. The new beta members area, you saw it in some of our videos where we've been advertising it towards the end. We put the ads at the back because we know you like to get straight into the content, but we have to shout them out because they're a partner for the season. Again, so thank you to Fantasy Football Scout. They do fantastic work. They got some new graphics and stuff as well. I'll have to be changing mine just slightly, but my thumbnails and that sort of stuff will all be pretty consistent more or less this season, because I think I have a good format for that. And hopefully we can churn out the videos and stuff as we normally do. But yeah, thank you to Fantasy Football Scout. And all the stats you will see in those videos come from Fantasy Football Scout, because they have the best stats in the world. So let's move over to the big screen. I thought that was the big screen for a second, but it's fine. We can probably cut that out. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure to like, favorite, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Pilot Flame 226 on all platforms. The next time you see me will be in a series of videos. We have 20, one for each team, which will be a preseason watch, which will show you what assets I think are good, what FPL assets I think are bad, and which ones could be coming in or out of the team due to the transfer speculation, and we'll talk about that individually. And it gives me a reason to go and check out and look at the teams, and it helps you guys as well because you get to see who potentially is coming in and out of the team that could be an FPL asset, much like the Andres Pereira news as an example. FPL gets launched, and then a few hours later, Pereira now becomes a 4.5 million attacking midfielder that could be a bench option that plays for a team that we're probably not going to have 3 assets from all season. So, fantastic stuff. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, you'll see me on a video. Take care.